God of War is arguably the most anticipated PlayStation 4 exclusive thus far. It's part of a series with such a long history behind it, but this new God of War title is changing things up a little bit. It's obviously evident right away when you look at the game that this game is shifting away from past entries. The release of this blockbuster exclusive isn't too far out, so in this video we're gonna take a look at 10 things that you need to know about God of War on PlayStation 4. Let's get right into this. So with God of War, the story is always a big element to the games, and in this God of War, many years have passed since Kratos took his vengeance against the Olympian gods. He survived his final encounter with his father Zeus, and Kratos now lives with his young son Atreus in the world of the Norse gods, a savage land inhabited by many ferocious monsters and warriors. He wants to teach his son how to survive in such a world, and Kratos must master the rage that has driven him for many years and embrace his newfound role as a father and a mentor. Of course, as a father figure, you can't be in rage mode all the time. However, Kratos must also contend with the Norse gods themselves, as they are taking precautions against him due to them being aware of his role in the destruction of Olympus. Over the course of their time together, Atreus learns more about his father's complicated and shady past while struggling with whether to be like his father or choose to be his own person. Number 2, I mentioned Norse mythology, and that is a big element with this new God of War title. The past God of War titles were based on Greek mythology, and this new installment will be based on Norse mythology. Now, the game isn't a complete reboot, but it is seen as a soft reboot. Before settling on Norse mythology, the developers also considered Egyptian mythology. In explaining why Kratos is now the Norse world, creative director Cory Barlog said that different cultures' belief systems coexisted, but they were separated by geography, suggesting that Kratos traveled from Greece to Norway after the conclusion of God of War 3. Barlog also confirmed that throughout the game, players will be able to visit some of the 9 realms of Norse mythology. Number 3, also watching this new God of War game in action, you might have noticed that there's a shift in gameplay design as well. And that's because it's vastly different from previous games, as it was rebuilt from the ground up. This new game features a third-person over-the-shoulder free camera, which is a departure from previous installments. Those games had a third-person fixed cinematic camera. Enemies in the game stem from Norse mythology and will include creatures such as trolls, ogres, draugrs, and more. And with the PlayStation 4's technology, the enemy count that's available on screen has been raised from 50 to 100. Number 4, let's talk about more change, and another major change is that Kratos no longer uses his signature double chain blades. He lost those at the conclusion of God of War 3. Now instead he uses a magical battle axe called the Leviathan Axe that can be infused with different elemental abilities and thrown at enemies. Kratos can also charge the axe and let out a burst of energy that damages nearby enemies. In gameplay, the axe has light and heavy attacks. Heavy attacks allow Kratos to launch enemies into the air. Larger enemies such as an ogre have precision targets, and throwing the axe at those targets will stun the enemy. The weapon can also be thrown at environmental objects such as a container to trigger an explosion that will damage nearby enemies. And the axe can also be upgraded by using runes, with one slot being for light attacks and the other for heavy. This provides players with a variety of options to cater to their own playstyle. Number 5, speaking of weapons, another new weapon that Kratos utilizes is a shield. When not in use, it folds up and appears like armor on Kratos' left forearm, and when summoned, the shield can be used offensively and defensively. Kratos also has the option to utilize hand-to-hand combat. Number 6, although the game is played entirely as Kratos, there are times where the player may choose to passively control Kratos' son, Atreus. One button is dedicated to Atreus, and its use depends on the context. For example, if the player needs assistance, they can look at an enemy, press the button, and Atreus will use his bow to shoot arrows at the enemy. Over the course of the game, Atreus helps in combat, traversal, exploration, and puzzle solving. And when facing a large amount of enemies, he freely acts as a distraction for the weaker ones as Kratos fights the stronger ones. If too many enemies gang up on Atreus, he is knocked out for the remainder of that fight, and just like Kratos, Atreus acquires new skills, armor, and special abilities. Number 7. The game features elements similar to RPGs, such as archery knowledge points, as well as a Spartan Rage timed ability during battle, similar to the Rage ability of previous installments. And like the previous games, the Rage ability has a meter that gradually fills during combat, and with this ability, Kratos uses powerful barehanded attacks as opposed to weapons to greatly damage enemies.
No, boy!
Number 8. While God of War does seem to be more open than past games, it is not a full-blown open world title and still focuses on linearity. However, due to it being more open, players can encounter optional boss battles in addition to the regular story-based bosses. As the ability to swim was cut from the game, players will instead use a boat to traverse over bodies of water when necessary. Some other gameplay characteristics found in the previous installments were also cut, such as jumping and instant death platforming challenges. Number 9. So how lengthy of a game is the new God of War title? Well, God of War hasn't been known for a game that spans countless hours, but that might be different with this new title. At the 2017 PlayStation Experience, Cory Barlog said that the game's story would take around 25 to 35 hours to complete. That is significantly more content than any of the previous games, which each took an average of 10 hours to complete. And finally, number 10, when is this game being released? And let's look at the different editions and even a console. So God of War on PlayStation 4 will be officially releasing on April 20th, and it is a PlayStation 4 exclusive. In addition to your standard base game, there will be 3 special editions: the Stone Mason Edition, the Collector's Edition, and the Digital Deluxe Edition. On top of that, there is also a limited edition PlayStation 4 Pro bundle that's available, and that PlayStation 4 console looks awesome. So whether you've yet to pick up a PS4, you just want an upgrade to the PlayStation 4 Pro, or if you're just a fan of how the console looks, that's gonna offer an option to pick up the game as well. And again, the game will be officially releasing on April 20th. So that is gonna conclude this video. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think? Is God of War a game that you are excited for? I'm sure if you're a PlayStation 4 owner, I probably didn't have to sell you on the game, but nonetheless, here is some more information on one of the most anticipated titles of the year. Sound off with your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.